For more than 150 years, if you were born on U.S. soil, you were automatically American. It didn't matter if your parents were tourists, students, or even undocumented immigrants. The Constitution had your back. But as of June 2025, that's no longer the case. President Donald Trump's executive order has rewritten the rules of citizenship, and the Supreme Court has allowed it to move forward in much of the country. What does that mean for families, for the Constitution, and for America's identity itself? Buckle up, because this could be one of the most consequential immigration changes in U.S. history. Let's rewind. January 20th, 2025, Trump's very first day back in the White House. He signs an order called Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship. Sounds patriotic enough, right? But in reality, it fundamentally reinterprets the 14th Amendment, which since 1868 guaranteed citizenship to nearly anyone born in America. Trump had teased this idea before, but this time he pulled the trigger immediately. And that's a huge deal, because the 14th Amendment was born out of the Civil War, meant to ensure that formerly enslaved people and their children would forever be recognized as Americans. To even touch this part of the Constitution, that's political dynamite. Here's the meat of it. Starting February 19, 2025, being born in America no longer guarantees you a U.S. passport. Unless at least one parent is a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident, your child isn't automatically American. So picture this. You're an international student on an F1 visa. You've been studying here for years, maybe even paying sky-high tuition. You have a baby in the U.S. That child? Not a citizen. Or, say you're on an H-1B work visa helping build Silicon Valley's tech empire. Same thing. No automatic citizenship for your baby. Even tourists flying in on a 2-week vacation? If they give birth here, those babies used to be citizens. Now? No longer. Hospitals are being told to check parental status at birth, and federal agencies have stopped issuing passports or social security numbers for these kids. That means families are leaving maternity wards with a newborn and a pile of legal uncertainty. Naturally, the lawsuits came fast. Civil rights groups, immigrant advocates, and more than 20 states sued, saying the order was flat out unconstitutional. And at first, federal judges agreed. They froze the policy nationwide. But on June 27, 2025, the Supreme Court made a surprise move. Instead of deciding if...
This audio was created with Podcastle.ai.
The Supreme Court made a surprise move. Instead of deciding if Trump's order was constitutional, they ruled that judges couldn't block it nationwide. Meaning, the order kicked in across most states, though a few, like Colorado, where local officials joined lawsuits, still kept birthright protections intact. So right now, we've got a divided America. In some states, babies are still citizens by birth. In most others, the new restrictions apply. And that patchwork system is creating absolute chaos for families. Think about the ripple effects. Parents now have to prove their status before getting a birth certificate or social security number for their child. Some families are terrified their kids might end up stateless, not citizens here, and not citizens of their parents' home country either. Imagine growing up in America, speaking English, pledging allegiance at school, and being told you don't belong here. Schools are already asking new questions about documentation. Hospitals are hiring extra staff just to handle paperwork. And immigrant families, many of whom have lived here for decades, are suddenly in legal limbo. Fear and confusion are spreading fast. Now, here's something you might not know. The U.S. was one of the last major countries still offering unconditional birthright citizenship. Canada and Mexico still do. But most of Europe, Asia, and even Australia require at least one parent to have legal status. So, in a sense, America is now aligning with much of the world. But does that make it right? Or does it strip away something that made America unique? The fight isn't over. Advocacy groups are filing new lawsuits. Congress may try to weigh in. And yes, this could come back to the Supreme Court in the future for a direct ruling on the 14th Amendment. Until then, families are stuck in a gray zone, not knowing what the final rules will be. And let's not forget, this is just one piece of a broader shift in immigration. Trump has also ordered more scrutiny of family-based green card petitions, making it harder for U.S. citizens to bring spouses, children, or siblings into the country. It's part of a bigger philosophy, moving the system away from family unity and toward stricter, merit-based immigration. So here's the big question. Is ending birthright citizenship, protecting AmeriCorps, dismantling one of its core principles? I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss future updates. This story is still unfolding, and you'll want to stay ahead of it. This is U.S. Immigration Insights, bringing you immigration news that actually matters. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and stay tuned.